Just one season after getting promoted, Burnley, despite their best efforts, have been sent straight back down to the Championship. And to make matters worse, somehow Vincent Kompany has landed himself a job at Bayern Munich, which leaves Burnley without a manager. Luckily for them though, I've just become available. So in today's video, I'm going to take charge of a recently relegated Burnley. The goal is to not only get them back into the Premier League, but win them their first ever Champions League to make them the world's best club. But hold on a second guys, it's not going to be that simple. Because every signing I make will have to be in alphabetical order, starting with the letter A all the way down to the letter Z. So for example, if I wanted to sign Adam Webster, I'd have to wait until we get to the letter W. But on the other hand, I would be able to sign Allison if I wanted to. Ladies and gents, strap yourselves in because this isn't going to be easy. Especially when you consider this is the starting 11 that we've loaded into. I mean, it's a decent team, don't get me wrong, but I can absolutely see why they've been relegated. Overall, guys, there just wasn't enough quality in this team to keep them in the Premier League despite their best efforts. But now that Burnley are in the Championship again, there are a couple of players that we can really try and build this team around. I mean, we all know how good James Trafford is in real life. Now that we're back in the Championship, as I've just said, it might be worth giving him a go. There's also players like Luka, Warwick Kolosho, and also Wilson Odobert, both 18 years old, both showing great potential. And on top of that, guys, there's so many more youngsters we can build this team around. I'll be real with you, I had no idea just how stacked Burnley actually were. And on top of that, guys, we've got 20 million to spend to further improve this Burnley side, but remember, it can only be in alphabetical order going by the last name. But before we start making transfers left, right and centre, I want to switch this formation up, man. We are not rocking the 4-4-2. Instead, we're using a formation I don't think I've used yet on FC24, the 4-1-2-1-2 wide variation. And we're going to use the kick and rush tactical vision to partner up with this formation. And after proper meddling with the team, this is, in my opinion, our best and most promising starting 11 that we can field. Now, you will have noticed players like Mark Tresaw and Fofana are on the bench, and there's a very good reason for this. They're currently on loan to us alongside all these other players, so what I'm going to do, considering this is the new season, they're in the Championship, I'm just going to get rid of them to add a little bit of realism to the video. You may have also noticed Aaron Ramsey was indeed in that attacking midfielder role. That's because I'm training him to be an attacking midfielder. It'll only take him a month to do so as well. And on top of that, I am loaning out all 6 of these players for 2 different reasons, one of which some of these are youngsters that just aren't ready for the starting 11 just yet, and the other, well, these players like Jay Rodriguez that are going to get game time over players that I want to get game time. We have well and truly got everything figured out at Burnley. The only thing we haven't got figured out is what to do with this 22 million. However, going through the development plans, I've noticed that Charlie Taylor is only 74 rated. It'll take him 168 weeks to become a better player, so honestly, a new left back's definitely on the cards. And as harsh as this is going to sound, I'm having second thoughts about Aaron Ramsey. I am still going to train him as an attacking midfielder. However, instead of actually using him, I feel like I'm just going to send him out on loan and bring an actual attacking midfielder in. But remember, guys, we're doing this in alphabetical order only, so our first signing surname has to begin with A. But thankfully, Dusseldorf has sorted us out with Shinta Appelkamp. He's only 22, he's a very good player, and he's got something special, and honestly, that's enough for me to want to sign this dude. And there we go, my first signing as Burnley manager, 5.2 million on Shinta Appelkamp. Now we just need a fullback whose surname begins with B, and honestly, I think I've just thought of one from the Premier League. That's right, guys, you guessed it, I've just signed Brighton's Valentin Barco for 5.2 million. He's only 18, 72 rated already, and he's an exciting prospect. Ladies and gents, already I feel like we found our endgame fullback. But there's one more thing I've changed my mind on, guys. I've gone through the squad up and noticed Han Noah Masengo. He's only 21, 71 overall, and he's showing great potential. But Josh Cullen, who's a far superior player to him right now, is in the starting 11. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to loan Josh Cullen out for a year or two and then see what Masengo has got to offer. However, guys, that's not all I've been doing. I've been training Wilson Odobert to become a right winger. Hopefully he goes up an overall 73 rated. Absolutely beautiful. And I've done the exact same thing with Kolosho. Let's see what he goes up to, 71 rated. That's 2 for 2. Honestly, I'm so excited to see what this team looks like at the end of season 1. I'm not overly fussed about how we do in the league. All I want to see is massive improvements. I mean, granted, we should have promotion on our mind, but I want to save that until season 2 or 3. Season 1 is all about developing our players whilst we can in the Championship. I mean, for goodness sake, our oldest player in the team is right back Vitinho, and he's only 23 years old. I think the idea of pushing for promotion can wait for a little bit. The first thing we got to do is develop this team and get them ready for the Premier League to begin with. But to be honest, guys, I honestly think we're ready for it. Now, look at some of the ratings on these players, man. Every single player is growing magnificently, and this is absolutely phenomenal. And the stats are just as good, to be honest. Lyle Foster with 25 and 8. Scott Twine on loan to Bristol got 17 and 2. 16 and 6 for Amdouni, and 15 and 4 for Odobert. Even our fullback Barco got 10 goal contributions. What a bloody player he's turned into, by the way. 78 overall at 19 years old. Guys, despite massively decreasing the quality in this team, it is absolutely incredible now. And honestly, I won't put it past this Burnley side to get back into the Premier League this year. And it might just happen as we are in the playoffs alongside Middlesbrough, Norwich, and Coventry City. This is mental. We were only 3 points off automatic promotion, never mind the playoffs. And we are indeed in the final after slapping Norwich 3-1 in the semi-final. In all due respect to Middlesbrough, but I don't think they stand a chance, man. Our team is absolutely ready for the Premier League now. We just have to win this game to prove it, and we don't. Middlesbrough win the playoff final. They win at Wembley, and they are now in the Premier League, and we remain in the Championship for at least another year. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I thought for sure that Burnley were going to get back into the Premier League with the team looking like this, but apparently Middlesbrough had other ideas. On top of that, we didn't have the best FA Cup run as we get knocked out in round 3. But we did have a decent Carabao Cup run, ironically getting knocked out by Man City, the same team who knocked us out in the FA Cup. Now granted, we didn't get promotion to the Premier League, and whilst that does kind of suck, honestly we've got bigger problems to handle. With how well everybody's played this season and how well everybody's developed as players, the question is, where in God's name are we going to put next year's budget? I mean, look at the amount of players we've got out on loan right now. Squad depth certainly isn't an issue, so we can't put our money into the bench realistically. I guess this is next season's problems, but one way or another, we're going to have to figure out a solution to this. But before we get to Season 2, did you lot know I'm racing this twerp right here ramming to 100,000 subscribers? Now, I'm very competitive, and I do not like losing in this case, especially, so please do help me out, guys. Leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and smash that subscribe button if you're new around here. Now guys, here we are in Season 2, and we've got 27 million to spend. But the big problem is, guys, we legitimately don't have a proper place to put it. Not a single player in this starting 11's development plan is showing signs of slowing down, man. Everybody's on the up, and on the up fast. And like I said last year, with the amount of players we've got on loan right now, it's pointless putting any money into our depth because, quite frankly, we don't need to. So honestly, I think I'm just going to use this money to improve our coaching system a lot more and give everybody lengthy contracts. Because frankly, guys, this time last year we had a far weaker team than what we've got right now, and we still managed a playoff position. So logically, the same team that is showing no signs of slowing down when it comes to development and growth should surely get an automatic promotion spot. And as we arrive at the end of the season, I'm convinced we've done it. Look at the state of some of these players, man. It's absolutely phenomenal. Look at Barco now, 84 overall at only 20 years old. And these stats are genuine insanity. 44 goal contributions for Wilson Odobert, 18 and 4 for Lyle Foster, 11 and 11 for Amdouni, and 11 and 1 for Michael Obafemi from the bench. And looking at the team on paper, guys, there is no doubt in my mind we're a Premier League side. We just need to get promotion. And that's exactly what we've done, guys. We are champions of the Championship with 100 points on the board, and we've officially made Burnley a Premier League team once again. But whilst we did well in the Championship, in the FA Cup it was the same story as last year. Round 3, we got knocked out by Brentford. And it's the same story in the Carabao Cup. Brighton knocked us out in round 3 of this as well. But I'll be honest, guys, I'm genuinely starstruck at how well this team has developed. Look at Odobert, for example, 84 overall already. But unfortunately, some players' potentials look like they've been reached. For example, Vitinho is 80 overall, 25 years old, but it'll take him 58 weeks to get better. There's also Masengo. Obviously, it'll only take him 12 weeks to become a better player, but overall, it doesn't look like he's going up as quickly as he should be. And it's the same thing with Applecamp. It'll take him 11 weeks to become a better player, but after that, it looks like his potential's been reached. I mean, at the very least, guys, we know exactly where we can put next season's money. And after winning the Championship outright, you better believe I am expecting more than double what we got this year as well. But whether we have or we haven't, one thing is for certain, we are officially back in the Prem with Burnley. And I'm happy to say we've literally got more than triple what we got last season, 84 million to spend on the team. And we all know what I'm after, guys: a new attacking midfielder, a new CDM, and a new right back to go into the team. But here comes the tricky part, guys: finding a player whose surname begins with C for one of those positions and is actually good enough to go into our starting 11. But thankfully I found Emre Can from Dortmund, a 31-year-old CDM who's 82 overall and his contract's expiring. Literally everything we need in one player. And just like that, guys, for 15.7 million he is now a Burnley player. And there he is in the starting 11. Now we just need either a cam or a right back whose surname begins with the letter D. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm going through all the top 5 leagues and I've not seen a single fullback yet whose last name begins with D. Seriously, are we even going to be able to do this? But thankfully, I've just found one: Diogo Dalot, playing for Dortmund once again. We are literally raiding Dortmund in this transfer window, but honestly, I don't care. What they have is what I need. And just like that, guys, for 39 million on the dot, we have stolen Diogo Dalot from Dortmund. But after sorting the coaching system out and giving everybody a better contract now that we're in the Premier League, we've only got 10 million to spend, and realistically, that's not enough to bring in a better cam, is it? But I've got a better idea, guys. Aaron Ramsey's returned from his loan move, and he is a far superior player than he once was. 77 overall at only 22 years old. That's 2 years younger than Applecamp. So I think we put Aaron Ramsey in the starting 11 and send Applecamp out on loan. That way they're both getting game time and hopefully they'll both improve. But despite how good our overall team is right now, we've got to remember we're in the Premier League now. We're going to be playing against the big boys of England. So I think it's unrealistic to expect anything spectacular. All I want is a standard mid to lower table finish, and then we can go from there. And guys, that's exactly what we accomplished. We are smack bang mid-table as a newly promoted side, guys. Despite how good our team is, that's a really good achievement. I mean, we are literally 50 points behind the Centurions, Manchester City, but like I've just said, we'll get a mid-table finish and then we can work from there. But it looks like we played well all around this time as we made the quarters of the FA Cup, losing to Sunderland. Surely to go, we should be beating them though. But apparently not, as they actually went on to win the entire damn thing. Fair play to the Black Cats. And we also had a decent Carabao Cup run, once again getting knocked out by Man City. They need to leave us alone, man. They always knock us out. But Jesus Christ, have you seen the morale of this team? Oh my god, I've legitimately never seen morale that bad before across the entire squad. There is literally only 7 players in the entire team who aren't unhappy, and only one of them isn't out on loan. This is nuts. I've literally never seen this before. But if we can forget about the morale for a second, look at the state of the improvement once again, and look at the ages as well, man. It's such a young team we've got. But as for the stats, guys, it wasn't that good. 17 and 7 for Zeki Amdouni, who was by a mile our best player this season. But judging from the Premier League table, going forward, we weren't actually that bad in comparison to the rest of the teams, but defensively, we leaked goals left, right and centre, so next year we've got to sort that out. And I think we've definitely got to strive for a higher finish than just mid-table, because quite frankly, it looks like these players aren't too happy with that. And guys, we've got a healthy budget to help us achieve that 60 million in total. And I've already said after last season, we need to bolster the strength of our defence, but this is going to be tricky because the next player that we've got to sign surname has got to begin with E. And unfortunately for me, the best centre-back I've found whose surname begins with E is actually Maxime Esteve, who's 79 overall, and ironically enough, he was actually at Burnley at the start of this video. Maybe instead of going for a centre-back whose surname begins with E, we go for a different position, maybe an attacking midfielder, because Ramsey is indeed actually the weakest link in the team. I know his development as a player is going really well, but let's be honest, guys, we've got a better chance of finding a cam whose surname begins with E than we are a centre-back whose surname begins with E. And this is what I mean, man. Claudio Echeverri, who's only 20 years old, 78 overall. I've only looked in the Premier League, and this guy's the first one that I found. But I think I've just found someone way better, guys. Eberiche Eze, granted he's nearing 30 years old, but he's 84 rated and his contract's running out. This one is a W whichever way you look at it. And just like that, guys, for 31.5 million, Eberiche Eze now plays for Burnley. But this only leaves us with 24 million to find a better centre-back than the ones we've currently got whose surname begins with G. And I've actually found one, guy. Stade Rennais' Marc Guy. He's only 26, 83 overall, but he's worth between 47 and 38 million. The good news is, though, as you can see, we've got an army of reserves that we could throw into this deal to actually make it happen. So I'm going to offer Amin Al Dakhel alongside 19 million. I'm not sure if they're going to go for this, but we're going to find out one way or the other. They want 700 grand more and 5% sell-on clause. Come on, man. Stop being stingy and just accept 19 mil. How about this? We increase the sell-on clause to 15% and we drop it back down to 19 million. And there we go. That was enough. Thank God for that. We've got our centre-back. And there he is in the Burnley kit, ladies and gents. We were just able to afford him, but I believe he's going to be worth every penny we spent on him. And here is the new and improved Burnley side, and honestly, I feel like a top 4 finish is definitely on the cards, man. There's too much quality in this team not for us to get Champions League football. Especially now that we've improved the quality of our defence with Mark Guy and definitely adding more creativity up top with Eberiche Eze. But apparently signing both of those players didn't do a damn thing. We were only 9th in the league at the end of this season, man. That is honestly atrocious for how good our team is. There is literally no excuse why we aren't in the top 4, man. This is just abysmal all round. We did, however, make it to round 5 of the FA Cup before we got absolutely embarrassed by Liverpool. And we made it to round 3 of the Carabao Cup before Leicester City of all teams knocked us out. And I'll be real, these stats are not good at all, man. 15-6 for Colosio, 14-8 for Odobert, and 13-2 for Lyle Foster. I mean, for those ratings and how good they are, that is shocking. I think it's time we switched our tactics, so man, the 4-1-2-1-2 wide alongside the kick and rush tactical vision just simply isn't working in the Premier League. And when we've got players like 90 overall Colosio and 91 rated Odobert just about managing to get more than 20 goal contributions a season, you know that there's something inherently wrong with how we're set up. But one thing's for certain, next year, no matter what we do, we have to get a better finish than 9th in the league, man. At the very least, we need European football, otherwise there's more problems at this Burnley team than I realised. But as we arrive in Season 5, guys, I've already taken action. We've changed the tactical vision from kick and rush to the wing play because, quite frankly, we've got 2 of the best wingers in the entire Prem. And we're switching the formation to the 4-3-3 attacking variation, a lot more creativity and a lot less restrictive than the 4-1-2-1-2 wide. But hold on, guys, wait a minute. I've just realised I have made a massive mistake. We're doing this in alphabetical order. I've completely skipped F and I've signed Mark Guy, whose last surname begins with G. Which basically means I've kind of unknowingly cheated. What am I playing at? Thankfully though, there is a solution and we've got £89 million to actually help us sort this out. Now first up, we need to sort this Mark Guy situation out. Obviously we shouldn't have signed him to begin with, therefore he shouldn't be in the team. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to release him. And just like that, guys, he's out of the starting 11. But now it's a case of actually sticking to the alphabetical order, guys. In this case, we have to sign a player whose surname begins with F. But that's not our biggest issue right now, guys. We've got to sort this team out because, quite frankly, now that we switched formations and just released our best centre-back, we're kind of all over the place. I mean, Emre Can's not only out of position, he's 33 years old now. We have Dalcroix who's our centre-back now, but he's nowhere near on the level that Mark Guy is. And whilst 89 million is a lot of money, it is not enough to sign 3 absolute quality players to get us from here all the way to here. But I've just thought of something. It'll take Emre Can a fortnight to become a centre-back. And judging by the +3 he's getting on his rating when he's in that position in the starting 11, I feel like this is absolutely what we should do. That means that we can focus the rest of the money on sorting that midfield out. But remember, guys, we're not going back to G just yet. We've got to start from F and then we're going to G. I cannot believe I've done that twice in a row now, by the way. But believe me, I'm making up for it with this signing. And Davide Fratesi from West Ham, only 27, 85 overall, a phenomenal centre midfielder, and his contract's running out, and we all know what that means. But in case you don't know what it means, we've just got a hell of a bargain on Davide Fratesi, only spending 43.5 million to sign him. But this now leaves us with 41 mil in our budget, and now it is finally actually time to sign someone whose surname begins with G. And I couldn't think of anybody better than Conor Gallagher, so I spent 31.7 million to sign him. He's the same age as Fratesi, got a ton of Premier League experience. Honestly, these pair are going to be the game changer. And now that we sorted the midfield, it's time to see if I was right about Emre Can. Is he going to go up? Look at that, man. I should have done that from the beginning, to be fair. This was absolutely the right move from the beginning. I mean, granted, he's 33 years old and he will drop down in rating, but he's absolutely our best shot right now to do a lot better in the Prem. But with the team looking this damn good going into Season 5, ladies and gents, there should surely be nothing stopping us this time from getting top 4 football. And we've finally done it, guys. We've got top 4 football in Season 5, but more importantly, we're in the Champions League in Season 6. And you know what? We weren't actually far off being the champions either. Arsenal were only 9 points ahead of us in the end. I find it so crazy what a simple switch in tactics can do to impact the team. I mean, look at this. We've beaten Arsenal themselves to win the FA Cup, and that's our first bit of silverware with Burnley in years, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, granted, we had a stinker in the Carabao Cup. Ipswich knocked us out in round 2, but we've won the FA Cup and we finished second in the Premier League. We can't have everything, can we? The stats still aren't overall spectacular, but Odobert gained 21 goals and 15 assists in 45 games is pretty damn decent if you ask me. But I'm absolutely buzzing going into season 6, ladies and gents. Everything we've done this year, tactics-wise, transfers-wise, has absolutely worked. And considering the fact the UCL final was a Manchester derby, I'm not being funny, guys. I'm going all out to win this competition next year. If United can get to the final, we definitely can. Especially given the fact we've got 213 million to spend in season 6, guys. It's ours for the taking, I'm telling you that for nothing. But to get to the UCL final, there are a couple of things that we've got to do first. Starting with replacing Emre Can. I mean, this one's the obvious one, isn't it? He's 34 years old, 83 overall. It's only a matter of time before he really starts to dwindle in overall. And we could also do with improving this bench just a little bit more too. But as we've seen, financially, we haven't got any issues. The only issues is we've got to find a player whose surname begins with H, and honestly, I'm stumped. However, there is David Hanko, but the only thing putting me off him is his age. He's 30 years old. If anything, I'd like someone a little bit younger. There's also Harwood Bellis, but I'm pretty certain he hasn't got much more potential after 83 rated, so this one's a bit of a waste of a transfer if we make it. But my search is finally over. Piero Hinsape from Man United. He's 26, 86 overall, levels above Emre Can, way younger, and he is absolutely the right man for us. But guys, he was incredibly expensive, as we've just had to spend 78.2 million to sign him. But this still leaves us 128 million to sign a player whose surname now begins with I, and honestly, I am kind of stumped with that. I mean, we could absolutely sign Isak if we wanted to, but realistically, we've already got 2 world-class strikers. We don't need a third one. We could sign Roger Ibanez. I mean, he's 29, 84 rated, can do a job from the bench as well. But then again, after signing Hinsape, Emre Can can just drop to the bench and that position's all covered. This is honestly a nightmare. Why is it so hard to find a player whose surname begins with I? But guys, we've finally done it. Ilyas, the right winger from Villarreal. I don't know how I didn't think of this guy sooner, but he's 24, 82 overall, and we actually do need a backup winger. This guy is literally perfect. And just like that, we have signed him for 31.7 million. Now it's a case of finding a centre midfielder in place of Masengo, and our job is done for season 6. But that midfielder's surname has to begin with J, and this is going to prove difficult because even the Premier League doesn't have a midfielder whose surname begins with J, man. If the Prem doesn't have one, we are absolutely stumped. But thankfully the French League does, and Curtis Jones is 27, a good player whose contract's running out and has got a ton of Premier League experience. And that concludes our business for season 6, as we've just spent 28 million on Curtis Jones. However, business elsewhere this year is just about to kick in, as we finally made our way into the Champions League. We were in Group F alongside Atletico Madrid, Wolfsburg and Sporting, and I'm loving this start so far, guys. 3 games played, 3 wins, currently undefeated. We genuinely could not have asked for a better start than the one we've got. We've just got to keep this going till the very end of this season, and not only will we be the best team in England, we may potentially become the best team in the world. But guys, whilst we had a good start, we've had a catastrophic ending. We are 8th in the Premier League at the end of season 6. What in God's name has gone wrong? I mean, it wasn't even like it was close in the end. We were a solid 20-odd points away from being the champions. We didn't even win the Community Shield either, man. For God's sake, Arsenal. We even made the FA Cup final to get beaten by Palace on penalties, man. How is this happening when the team is as good as it is? This is a joke at this point. Palace also knocked us out in the Carabao Cup in round 3 the exact same way they won the FA Cup final. The only good thing that's come out of this season so far is we're in the round of 16 in the Champions League. And we're through to the quarters after battering Feyenoord. But we got absolutely demolished by Liverpool in the quarters. Season 6 has somehow been our worst season so far by a country mile. And at this point, I don't give a rat's behind if the team morale isn't as good as it should be, because ladies and gents, a team this good should be performing way better than they are right now. But when you look at the stats, you'd think we've done way better. I mean, 32 and 11 for Odobert, 23 and 12 for Colosio, and 12 goals for Lyle Foster. But when you look at the stats for the top 8, guys, we've conceded the second highest amount of goals and we haven't even come close to scoring the most. So it's still very evident, even at this point in this video, we've still got a lot of work to do with Burnley. But ladies and gents, as we begin Season 7, I have just made an absolutely game-changing signing that is going to get us back on track. Because I've just signed Jules Koundé for just over 60 million. Granted, he's 30 years old, but he's an absolutely world-class centre-back. And with this defence last season leaking goals left, right and centre, we absolutely needed to improve it a bit. And this leaves us 186 million to spend, and the next player that we've got to sign surname has got to begin with Al. And you know what? I think it's time we improve our second choice keeper. Muric is decent, don't get it twisted, but if anything happens to Trafford, I don't think he's good enough to do as good a job as he would. And to be honest, I didn't even have to think about who I was going to buy for this position, as I signed Andre Lunin for 25.7 million. He's in his 30s, granted, but he's 85 overall and he's levels above Muric. This is a no-brainer. And despite the fact we've got this amount of money left, honestly, I don't think we need to spend it. Because quite honestly, this team is an absolute joke, man. The starting 11's fantastic and so is the bench. And I'm really hoping that Jules Koundé can make a massive difference in the team. Last year, our defence let us down, but now that we brought in world-class quality, I am praying to God that not only can we get back in Europe, we can win the Prem. And that is exactly what we've been able to do. We are the best team in England by 6 points, man. We've even beaten Manchester City to that top spot. And we've gone on to win the FA Cup as well, man. That's 2 for 2. But the bottle jobs won the Carabao Cup. I've legitimately gone from here all the way down to here. But look at these stats, man. I'm doing it with 25-1, 16-5 Koloshe, 15-14 for Eberiche Eze. But Odobert had a real off-season, man. 6 goals and 3 assists. What the hell happened to him? But guys, if this season's proved anything, it's that Jules Koundé has absolutely made the difference this year, man. We've gone from being outside the top 4 to winning the entire damn thing. And because of that, we are once again in the Champions League. And considering Manchester City have won it this year, that fills me with so much confidence going into next season. Because this year, this team absolutely smoked Manchester City in the Prem, and I'm just hoping we can take this into next year and smoke everybody in the Champions League too. And with the amount of money the board have given us this year, we've got a great chance of pulling that off, as we've been given 327 million. At this point, I feel like we've got too much money to spend. But guys, if we are to not only dominate England again, but Europe, I feel like we've got to go absolutely ruthless in the transfer window. And for me, that is replacing Conor Gallagher in that centre midfielder role. I mean, granted, he's 86 rated, he's world class at this point, but he's the weakest link in that starting 11. And I'm also thinking about replacing Vitinho as our backup right back. I mean, granted, again, he's 83 overall, but I feel like we can bring in someone way better than him. And by now, we've established that we are sound as a pound financially. The question is, who can we bring in whose surname begins with the letter M? But truth be told, this didn't take me long to figure out, as I signed Fabio Moretti for 80 million on the dot. He's 4 years younger than Gallagher and he's a far better player. I honestly cannot wait to see what he can do for Burnley. And this leaves us 240 million to spend, but the only issue is now we've got to figure out who we can bring in whose surname begins with N as a fullback. And honestly, I have looked through every single league looking for a right back, a right wing back, a left wing back, and the best player I can find whose surname begins with M is this dude right here, and he's nowhere near good enough. So as mad as this is about to sound, this 240 million, I'm just going to leave it alone because we just don't need to spend it. I mean, nowhere in that starting 11 now needs meddling with in the slightest, and quite frankly, guys, if we're being honest, neither does the bench. Truth be told, I think I was being kind of petty with that fullback role because Fabio Moretti is literally the only signing we needed to make this year. Because now that we're back in the Champions League, we desperately needed to bolster our midfield because we're in Group A alongside Atletico Madrid, Salzburg and Trabzonspor. As for our start in the Premier League, it's not been that bad at all. 2 wins and 1 loss from 3 games, it's kind of 50-50. But I'm accepting no excuses this year. I absolutely want the Premier League title again. I want at least the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, and I definitely want to make Burnley the best team in the world this year too. And guys, look at what we've done. Back-to-back Premier League titles. We are beyond a shadow of a doubt now the best team in England at this point. And we've actually beaten Man City to win the Community Shield as well, so that's 2 for 2. But we got knocked out in round 5 of the FA Cup by Chelsea. That one I'm slightly disappointed with. But to be fair, we did lose to the winner, so overall that's not that bad. And we made the Carabao Cup final before falling short to Manchester City. Come on, man, really? But it's a good start to the Champions League, guys. We are joint top with Atletico and we go to the round of 16. And that's where we absolutely slap Leverkusen 5-2 on aggregate. And we just about beat Roma in the quarters. We could be playing a very strong AC Milan side, Manchester City or Bayern. Honestly, none of those teams seem appealing to me. But we faced Man City again and this time got the better of, and we're playing Bayern Munich in the Champions League final. Oh my god, guys, we could not only become the best team in England, but the best team in the world in the exact same season if we pull this off. But Bayern's team is no joke, man. Look at the state of that for a squad, man. The only weakness they've got is the right-hand side of the pitch where Anthony plays. But look at our stats this year, man. All around our front three, our midfield, banging goals in for fun this time. And guys, it is officially our strongest starting 11 going into the Champions League final, man. We've never stood a better chance of pulling this off. But ladies and gents, just under 9 years ago, we took over a just recently relegated Burnley side whose manager and Vincent Kompany had just left them. And with alphabetical order signings only, we've managed to take them from the Championship to being the best team in England, from right now maybe being the best team in the world. But guys, we're about to find out if we are Burnley going to be the best team in the world. Fritessi has made that happen. We have made Burnley, the Turf Moor legends, the best team in the world. Oh my god, we've finally done it, man. Vincent Kompany left Burnley high and dry to join Bayern Munich, and ironically enough, we've beaten Bayern Munich to make Burnley the world's best club. Honestly, guys, what a satisfying ending to this video. If you have enjoyed it, please leave a like on it, smash that subscribe button, and more importantly, help me beat Rahman to 100,000 subscribers. And if you are still here, first off, you're an absolute legend, but you should click right here because this video is a banger as well.